Have you ever gone up to a stranger's door, like maybe you were collecting bottles, or maybe you were delivering groceries or selling lawn care services, and you ring the bell and you have no idea who's going to answer that door? No idea what you might be interrupting. Well, you're about to hear a story where the door is answered by someone in the middle of a summoning. This story is from young writer Sarah Ham. Pull up a chair around the campfire and listen in to Deliverance. Phil shuffled the pizza boxes, desperately trying to liberate one of his arms. Finally, with the towering stack balanced precariously on his shoulder, he reached out and rang the doorbell, before quickly pulling back his arm to move the pizza from where it was burning a greasy hole in his uniform. The boxes nestled safely back in his arms. He shifted his weight from one foot to the other, impatiently. He could hear the muffled sounds of music blaring from inside the apartment. It sounded strange, with slightly more ominous drums and monotone chanting than the average house party soundtrack. He wondered about it for a moment more before he realized that he didn't care. "Come on," he muttered under his breath. "You want the pizza, you're coming to get the pizza, The door swung open, and Phil tried his hardest to pretend that he hadn't been talking to himself. He quickly forgot that, though, when he took in the figure at the door. It was cloaked head to toe in a dark robe, giving a spot-on impression of the Grim Reaper. It was also holding a scythe, which did nothing to detract from the deathly aesthetic. Phil looked up and down the hallway. It wasn't Halloween, right? He was pretty sure it was still July. He puzzled at it for a moment longer before realizing that, once again, he didn't care. He raised the pizza boxes. 2 vegetarians and a meat lover's deluxe. The Grim Reaper stared him down for a minute, its expression concealed beneath the shadows of its hood. Then, setting the scythe aside, it lifted its hands and pulled back the hood of its robes. "Oh," Phil uttered. It was a 20-something woman. She was cute, if you ignored the pentagram drawn on her forehead. "Geez, this is so embarrassing," she said, gesturing to the robe and the pentagram. "Yeah, so sorry. I'm not, crazy or anything." "Uh-huh," Phil nodded. "It's just this cult I'm part of. You've probably never heard of it. It's kind of really, alternative. You know how it is." "Yeah, totally," Phil replied. "Cool." The girl coughed awkwardly. "So, pizza, yeah? I didn't order it, but I'm sure someone in here did. We're just in the middle of a summoning at the moment, but you can come in. Don't worry, we rarely actually get any demons to show up." She turned on her heel and strolled back into the apartment. "Rarely?" Phil repeated, following her inside. The living room was small and full of candles. The scene was a strange fusion of college party and satanic ritual. 2 dudes in black robes were engaged in a friendly match of Mario Kart, while a girl in overalls chanted enthusiastically in Latin. More people drummed ominously in a corner. One of the drummers caught him staring and gave a small wave. Phil nodded at him politely. "Darren, Brady," the girl hollered, and the 2 guys on Nintendo turned to her. "What?" said the one on the left. "I was just about to win my 3rd game." "Excuse me?" said the one on the right. "I was totally whooping your butt, bro." "Guys," she yelled. She smiled apologetically at Phil before turning back to the 2 boys. "Did you order pizza? Because—" The lights flickered, and the girl who was chanting paused. "Holy cow, I think it's working or whatever," she said. "Whoa, no way," one of the guys on the couch gasped. As the college kids started gathering around the girl in overalls, who resumed her chant, Phil found himself completely ignored. "Hey," he tried. No one turned. "Hey!" The girl who had opened the door for him finally looked up, her eyes widening, as if she'd totally forgotten about him. She nudged one of the Mario Karters, who started reaching for his wallet. But in the same instant, the room shook violently, and once again, Phil was forgotten. "Whoa, dude, this is totally freaky and stuff." Phil sighed in exasperation, and he was immediately shushed by several of the cultists. The lights had turned an eerie purple, and the TV screen in the corner flashed with the words, "He is coming, he has come," over the paused video game. Phil was fed up. As a pizza guy, it was like he was invisible, as if he existed only to deliver hot bread covered in cheesy goodness. They never truly saw him, did they? "Look," Phil shouted, "if you don't pay for this pizza, I have to. And as a 30-year-old working in pizza delivery, I'm not exactly wealthy, so just pay me so I can leave your pathetic little hipster summoning." They continued to ignore him, but Phil wasn't going to let some wannabe cultists push him around like this. Meanwhile, the couch burst into flames. "You summoned me here, now pay me what I'm due," he growled in his most authoritative voice. "I demand respect, and I demand payment for this pizza." "Jeez, dude," said one of the Mario Karters. "Chill out. We're doing important things here. We're trying to summon a demon." "Well, good luck with that," Phil shouted. The walls of the apartment were now bleeding, and the windows had shattered. He stormed out, slamming the door behind him. He fumed as he dropped the pizza boxes. They turned to ash before they hit the ground. "Stupid wannabe worshippers," he grumbled. "I go to all this trouble to appear before them, and they don't even notice me." He could remember the days when he didn't need paltry disguises and cheap tricks to test the faith of his followers, days when droves of them would unquestioningly do his bidding. He longed to live those days again. "Fools," Phil muttered under his breath. "Someday they'll all see me, and they'll be sorry." He dissolved into shadow, leaving behind only the faint smell of melted cheese. And that's our final Halloween student story of this episode. Thank you, Sarah. That story won second prize in the Ottawa Public Library's Awesome Authors Contest a couple of years ago in the 15 to 17 age category, and it was first published in Potpourri 2017. The author, Sarah Ham, is your average writerly ghost. This ghost's advice for young writers is to have fun with what you write. Sarah says, if you enjoy it, so will your readers. So thank you so much, Sarah, for communicating with me from beyond the grave, and thanks also to the Friends of the Ottawa Public Library Association for permission to include this potpourri story in today's show. I'll be reading another 4 student stories next week, when you'll hear about an Airbnb you don't want to book, a monster's lair you don't want to enter, and more great tales from young writers.